Okay, thanks so much for sitting with me today, everybody. I appreciate you all coming out in this rain, especially. I walked out my door without looking out the windows, and I was very shocked. I went to sleep much drier, but I'm so glad you're all here. This week, I wanted to talk a bit about Obon season. It's Obon season. We had Obon Odori a week or two ago, out in the parking lot, folks dancing with the ancestors. It's a holiday that really celebrates all who have come before and allowed us to be. And in thinking, I mean, there's a sutra that goes along with it, and there's the story of Moggallana, which you can look up. Somebody tells it, I'm sure, far better than me on the internet. But even more than that, I was thinking about this concept of who's here and who's not, and the way that kind of the dualism of how we talk and how we use language and the dualism inherent in language kind of makes those feel much more concrete than I think they actually are, who's here and who's not. And in thinking of last week when we were talking about, letting go doesn't mean giving up. You can let go of your hold on something and let it be as it is, not trying to keep it in a form that's unchanging, right? And then you end up having more of what that thing is because you have it through all of its transformations. And I was processing some grief with some folks that I do body work for, and just really sitting with some folks in meditation, talking about, what does it mean to not be here? And I think something that was really hopeful that we kind of came up with was that, you know, alive or not alive, in a body or not in a body, even if we're just approaching this, scientifically, matter doesn't go away, right? It just transforms. So we can dance with our ancestors just by being near trees, right? By being near people who are in the ground that turn to soil, that turn to trees, by being near all the things that keep transforming. And so in losing people, yes, it's a great deal of grief and it's a immeasurable sort of feeling, but not even but, and there is the opportunity to really accept that radical change right there and accept that I'm not going to be a body forever. I'm not going to be this body forever. Surely not. But whatever is here, that one koan that's like, what was your face before you were born? Whatever is here that's inherent to this universe moving, whatever part of me that will get, recycled, reduced, reused again and again and again, that's not going to go away. I can't name that for anybody, but whatever you think that is, that's not going to go away, I don't think. And so in thinking of Obon, in thinking of dancing with ancestors and really inviting people who we don't have physically close to us into our lives and into our space and our breath, I think we can really, or I can really rejoice in the fact that this isn't it. It's not just this body for, 60 to 100 years if I'm lucky. And then, this world ceases to be for me, right? It's just continual transformation. At least that's what the sutras and the scriptures say. It's continual change. And through those changes, we become so much more infinite because we're not stuck into seeing ourselves one way. And I think using that logic, not just for life and death, but for anything really, relationships, how we are day to day, we can allow ourselves much more fluidity and flexibility. Um, and one thing I said last week was I was reflecting on, which was Hosokawa Roshi, which is a teacher of my teacher in the Zen tradition, always, or not always, but spoke about having like a centerless center, right? Being like, yeah, this is the center of my body. But also, once I realize that and can tap into that, I have to let that go too, right? And if I let go of this being the center of my body, this is no longer the edge of my body, right? My body can be expansive. My breath can flow outwards. I can recognize that, like I'm breathing in the wind, I'm sweating out the rain, right? There's all of these things in us that are composite and all of everything else. So that's my Obon talk this week. If you want to look up the actual story, you can look up Moggallana, and this is this guy who flies through a bunch of realms and saves his mom, which is really sweet. But I don't tell it very well, so I pick something else to talk about. Thanks so much, everybody.